Hey there, it's Diane Forster, and welcome to I Have Today, the show that inspires, educates, and empowers you through life's transitions. And each week on this show, I bring on the most amazing guests. They're experts, authors, entrepreneurs, CEOs, and truly life changers who've gone through their own reinventions in life and have come out on the other side successful. And they come on this show to share their stories with us. And I'm very excited to bring on my guest today, Victoria Vivas Kwong. Hey, Victoria, how are you?
Hi, thank you so much for having me on your show, Diane. This is amazing. I love what you do, so I'm privileged to be here. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. I'm privileged to have you too. And let me tell you, she is a divine sexuality expert. I'm going to share her bio in a second. But before we get to that, let me tell you what this week's intention statement is. It is connect to your femininity and discover a better sex life. Now, doesn't that sound good?
Sounds amazing.
Especially for the women out there. This show is for you. And guys, sorry, this is really it's about the ladies. But guys, if you're listening, you'll probably get some helpful tips here too. Okay, and then our intention statement, which we do every single week, is I have today to live in divine femininity. And what we do with that is we create wallpapers on my Instagram page at Diane Forster Official. So if you want to go check those out, there's a button there that says wallpaper. So every week we have this intention statement, this mantra for you to use on your device so that it really anchors in and it really gets ingrained in you. So feel free to check them out there. So, okay. All right, Victoria. Let me share with the audience a little bit about you, okay? All right. Awesome. Victoria is a divine sexuality and healing teacher, having trained over 4,000 healers internationally. Wow. Victoria grew up in dictatorial Spain with a single mom under an ultra-conservative regime where sex was strictly for procreation and a woman's highest aspiration was to serve her husband. Rising from poverty, racism, and abuse, Victoria buried her femininity, numbing her pain through workaholism and becoming one of the first Black faces in Spanish television. A near-death experience propelled her to move to LA, and through her studies, Victoria found the most powerful healing modality, recovering femininity, and the savoring of a life, divine sexuality. Wow. Amazing. So, all right. So share your story with us. Tell us what happened.
Well, it has been quite the journey. Just the fact of growing up in a place where women were almost like second class
citizens, yeah.
Exactly. And not only my mom was single, she was super young. She got pregnant with me at 17. So she was living with her sister, which is a twin, and her mom. So it was all women at home. So imagine,
yes.
In this chauvinistic world, we just had to almost like compete to be a man as much as we could so that we could stay afloat. So that was my lesson. That was what I learned. If I'm a woman, I'm going to be the next loser. So I have to just be a man as much as I can. So I started just having most of my friends being male and just pursuing things that were more male related. And to an extent, it worked. I made it into primetime television. I was super successful, but there was this emptiness inside that lasted for years, and it was terrible. So then, through my healing career, just after a near-death experience, I realized, oh my goodness, there is so much more to life than the physical. So I needed to explore. I needed to go deeper. And I started with metaphysics and Reiki and crystals and many, many different kinds of healing. But only when I realized that I needed to heal my feminine, that was when I really made the change and the transformation at a deeper level.
Wow. Interesting how a near-death experience, a peak emotional experience launched you into this and made you pivot and change directions with this. We're doing a lot of talks lately about pivoting and changing directions. And so this is Great. All right. So you had this awakening moment, and then now what did you do next with this? You know, you moved to LA, and then what'd you do?
Yeah, so actually, the near-death experience and everything was in Spain, but my divine sexuality part was here in the US. So what I noticed is that I continue for years after my near-death experience, and even though it was almost like this catalyst that put me in a different direction, it was almost like a seed that it took years and years to develop and for me to realize this is what I have to do. So it
Mm,
took a lot of time. I got into martial arts, and that was part of what brought me to the US. So then I started practicing that and started doing some film. And still, as you can imagine, martial arts is mostly male dominated. But
yes.
finally, I just got to a point that I was in my most competitive time. I was about to compete physically, hurting somebody instead to just be in the movies. And finally I said, stop, Victoria, stop. You need to find something different within. And at that point was when I just embraced healing 100%. I started teaching and finally found divine sexuality. So it
Mm,
was a longer journey that might seem, and sometimes people is looking for the quick fix, like, okay, let's just, can you fix me in a weekend? And it's like, well, there are layers and layers and layers, and it takes time.
yes. You know, it didn't happen to you overnight. You can't change it overnight. I work with women as well, and I say the same thing. You know, yeah, there are some things that you can change instantly, but something that is so important like this, and I love that you're doing this work, and I am telling you, there's such a need for what you do. I come across this a lot personally, my own experience, my past, and then working with women, that there is so much ignorance about it, about your your sexuality and your divine femininity in general. And you're right, there are so many women out there who have had to take on a more masculine role. You know, I grew up in a house with three girls, three daughters. My dad, and he was always off working. He had, at some points in time in his life, he had multiple jobs. At one point, he had up to three jobs, so he wasn't around a lot. And he loved his girls, but we didn't grow up with any male energy either. So all three of us have a higher level of masculine energy, I think, because of that. I think you have to. So connecting with the feminine energy is so important. And I think you work with successful women, right?
Yes.
Professional women, right?
So what
Yes.
I love about this is that there is such a transformation that can take place, because when successful women are really like overachievers, we dive into our careers and we are so passionate about it, but sometimes it's because we are hiding some internal pain.
Yes. Yes.
So there are actually hidden traumas that I help women discover. And when we continue like that without really facing those pains inside, this is what takes us in what I call the shut-off state. So we just shut down,
Okay.
basically,
The
and we are
shut off state.
shut-off state. Yes,
Okay.
so we are
Mhm.
completely depleted, and we are not able to use our feminine force that can be so empowering for our businesses. It can fuel everything else that we do. But we are in
Mm,
that shut off state and we are depleted. So, what I help women is to move from that into blooming again,
mm,
blooming and achieving the ecstatic experience, so that then things start flowing because we are nurtured from the inside out and we are able to work with that divine feminine energy that is natural for us, instead to push, almost like the masculine force trying to force things into existence. Instead, allowing things to occur, allowing things for us in that ecstatic experience.
that is beautiful. So, can you give us a tip or a way, that's something, that women can do right now to do that, to connect with that?
Absolutely. The ecstatic experience, of course, Let me elaborate actually before I give something quick, because once again, it takes time. So
Yes.
there are a couple of different ways in which divine sexuality can be approached. And sometimes we think of, oh, I'm going to just learn all these postures and then I will have multi-orgasms and things like that. But the work that I do is a little different because we need to go from the inside out. So first
Hmm.
is healing the trauma, and that can take more than just applying a couple of tips, because these traumas are almost like breaks that when you are feeling that ecstasy, it prevents it from occurring. So because of that, we need to first clear that. It's like the onion, peeling those layers so that then we can shine from the inside out. However, one of the ways to start reconnecting step by step with the blooming woman and leave the depletion behind is to start connecting with the pleasures of life. So that means every day we have the opportunity to start nourishing ourselves, our senses. And this is super important for women. Sometimes we have to take care of our families, of our business, of everything, but we forget about us. So
Yes.
things such as just playing your favorite music and allow your body to move with it and feel that joy within. That's what it is to be a woman, to bring that joy outside, or just having flowers, smell them and allow that aroma to awaken your inner senses. All of that is to start reconnecting with that ecstatic experience that puts us into our bodies, into the present. Because many times we are here, I know
Yes.
because I'm a businesswoman,
Hmm.
going to the bed with my husband, and I would love to be intimate with him, but if I'm in my head thinking, oh my goodness, I didn't say this invoice, I didn't do this, oh my goodness, this email didn't go out, then it's impossible to be present in our bodies.
Right.
And our families, our relationships start suffering.
They
And
do suffer.
at the end of the day, we do all of this for love and for being with our beloveds, our families. So important to allow. It takes just 5 minutes. Take
Mm.
5 minutes breaks throughout the day and reconnect with your divine essence. Remember that you're a woman, that you have that force within.
I love that. Take 5 minutes a couple times a day and really connect with your feminine energy, connect with your senses. I love that. It's really important. I start my day with, but right before my meditation, well, I gave up coffee, so I'm not drinking coffee anymore, but with an
Mhm.
amazing cup of tea. And I just enjoy, I love the way the cup, the warmth of the mug, and I love the way it smells, and I love the way it tastes, and I love just sitting there and just really connecting to myself and to my senses. That's a ritual, and I hope and wish more women out there take those nuggets of time to do that. And I love that you said that, smelling the really, legitimately, literally smelling the flowers, and the dancing is so good too. Okay, those are great tips. All right, well, so what has been now, let's talk about now, because you shared your other challenges, but what is your biggest challenge right now in life?
Well, so a little bit of the process that I'm going through now is that I was fully focusing on healing in general. So what I found is that in the healing careers, the healers world, it is a lot about actually not having so much sexuality. So this is another aspect, that is another
Ah,
trap that occurs, that is like, well, if I'm so spiritual or so religious, should I have sex? Is sexuality something allowed for us? Are we still spiritual? So I have noticed that that's why I started transitioning from working more with healers into working more with people that really wants to embrace this. And some of the healers are really tapping into this and realizing that this is the major transformation that they have had. Not Reiki, not crystals, not sound healing, but this. So my
yes.
desire now is how I create an environment so that both healers, businesswomen, and other people can understand that this is actually something that goes as deep as it goes to just being a woman. So it's
Right.
not about I am this, I am that. It's just, I am a woman. So that is more than half of the population. And how this can transform not just our lives, but what we give to the next generations. If we continue having this stigma around sexuality and not understanding that our world is more than anything masculine, we are going to continue depleting our next generation. So we want to make sure, how can we make this happen? How we can transform not only ourselves, but those who are coming after
Right.
us.
Right.
So that's my, right now, like, like really wanting to make this happen. So I'm creating a series of resources. I recently actually completed a short ebook that people can download in my website for free. So I'm super excited about this because it's the 5 secrets to really tap into that divine sexuality.
Okay, well, we will make sure to talk about that at the end and give a link where you can find that and get that resource. Amazing. Great.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Yeah, I think this topic is not discussed enough. So I'm so grateful to have you on the show. All right, let me ask you a question that I ask all my guests, which is, how do you live the I Have Today way, which is intentionally in the present moment?
I love that because it really brings us to the present moment, like what we have today. Stop thinking about the past and the future. It's just, I have today. This is where I am. So I love in the morning to just wake up and start feeling this is almost like I'm born today. This is, my opportunity. I don't want to think about yesterday, about tomorrow. Is I'm born today. So
Yes.
that's the way in which I love the I have today, because every day can be a new rebirth. So I love that you share that in your title of the show. It's so powerful.
And that's true. And I love the way that you said that, because it is true. There's a line in the poem that says, I have today to start fresh and new. But rebirth is such a great way, because we are reborn every single day. Like, that's such a gift. Beautiful, beautiful. Well, is there anything else you want to share with the audience?
For sure that I would love for them to remember how being on this earth is such a precious gift. And sometimes we get distracted by the daily obligations without realizing that we have this amazing vehicle for our souls, that we have our partners, our families, and they're sometimes aching, waiting for having true intimacy with us. So I don't want any of you to be one day feeling, oh my goodness, I lost my marriage, or I lost the time with my family. I couldn't be there with my family as my kids were growing up because I was so in my head and busy. So how can we make this happen today, starting today, start tapping into that connection, that being in the present, being the nurturers once again. That's what women are, nurturers for ourselves, nurturers for others. So this is my invitation to each of you to make this count and to make sure that from now on you live with that awareness of your inner feminine presence.
Yes, yes, reconnect with it and love her and embrace her and awaken her, bring her back to life, right?
Absolutely. We
Bring
need
her
that.
from the inside out, right?
Yes.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, it's been a privilege to have you on the show, and I hope the audience got some great nuggets and takeaways. How can they find out more information about you?
I would love to share the ebook, because in
Yes.
this way you can see all the information and the 5 different ways in which you can reconnect with divine sexuality and your inner feminine. So
I'm
you
gonna
can
get
go,
it.
yes. So you can go to victoriavives.com/divine.
victoriavives.com/divine. That's wonderful. Thank you so much for that. I so appreciate you being here. And for those of you watching the show, if you can't see, Victoria's beautiful energy. She's just a light, just glowing and lovely. And the work that you're doing in this world is incredible. 4,000 women you've trained as right? Do you have
Yeah, I trained
4,000?
4,000 women. Actually, this has been in healing in general. So in Reiki, Reiki teachers, crystal healing practitioners, sound healers. So everything for me is about how can I transform the world. And the best is to have that ripple effect, to have others. I teach in Spain, I teach here, I travel. So just having that community of healers.
Yes, yes. I love it. It's beautiful.
Thank
All right.
you
Well,
so
remember that our theme this week was connect to your femininity and discover a better sex life. And our intention statement was, I have today to live in divine femininity. And what I would like to offer to the audience that aligns very nicely with what you do, Victoria, is, you know, many women have body image challenges, right? They're not comfortable with their body. They're unhappy in their body. They focus on the things that are wrong with their body, right? So one of the things that I created was a mantra meditation called My Ideal Body that helps clear that from your mind, and it helps you manifest the body that you want using your mind. So that's available at dianeforster.com/myidealbody, and that is also free. So you got great free resources today, ladies. Please take advantage of them, okay? And then don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review on YouTube and on iTunes. I Have Today with Diane Forster, and follow me at Diane Forster Official. And I want to thank you again for being here. You're a light, you're a love. Thank you for what you do. And we'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.